Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
HBTC, HBTC, HBTC. How about them Cowboys?
Really? You proud of me?
3 up with 4 to play.
Oh, you proud? No, I'm buying out. I'm buying out.
You're not buying out. I'm holding your feet to the fire. 10 cases.
I'm buying out.
About to be mine.
5 cases right now. 5 cases right now.
Thank you, Micah Parsons.
Oh, you have to take it to collection.
Thank you.
You have to take it to collection. You can take the 5 right now and take it to collection.
Oh, you're going on the lamb? Yeah. Okay, great.
Ooh, I mean, all right. It's one of those days. I honestly thought, Skip, you'd say, how about them Bucs and that performance? We do need to start there.
How about them Bucs?
No. Doesn't have the same conviction.
Guys, they survived a late rally as they won 33-27 in overtime against Josh Allen and the Bills. TB12, he threw for 363 yards and scored 3 total touchdowns, including the walk-off TD pass to Rashad Perriman. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was Tom Brady?
Skip, I'm going to give him, Skip, I had him at a 5, but I'm going to give him, I went all the way up to the 7 just for the last drive. I mean, let me tell you why, because I thought...
You've gone from a 5 to 7, like in the last 5 minutes?
In the last, walking up here, I was thinking, like, you know what? Josh Allen had the same opportunity to do what Tom Brady did.
He did?
Because he got the ball first in overtime.
Okay.
And he didn't get it done. I gave him a 7 for this, Skip. Had he not done that, I would have gave him about a 4. I would have said a large part of what transpired against Tampa was Tom Brady's fault.
Okay.
Skip, they got off to as great a start as they could hope for. They're moving the ball up and down the field. And I was like, you know what, Buffalo, y'all out here doing what you did against Indy. You did what you did. I think somebody else put 40-plus points on them. And I was like, y'all didn't come to play. You talked about how you were embarrassed, and the guy was, he was being disrespectful by asking, are you embarrassed? And you forgot that you're playing one of the better teams in the NFC. And you didn't come to play today. And then all of a sudden, something happens, Skip. But I don't know what really, I can't put my finger on it because I've never seen Tom Brady play in the second half like he played in the second half, Skip. He was 8 of 16 for 76 yards. And prior to that last drive where they got, I think, 80-plus plays and they got a field goal, they had like 30 yards. And I'm like, this is not Tom. What's going on? The defense saved them because the defense, again, Skip, they held Josh Allen to 2 of 13 on third down. That's how you won the game, and they had an opportunity. We're going to talk about this a little later, the Stephon Diggs situation, and I thought that was the difference in the ball game because there are opportunities that Buffalo could have gotten the ball in the end zone, and we might be having a different discussion. But for the simple fact that Tom was able to do what he's done so many times before, they got him dead to right. Edmonds doesn't square up. He gets right. He has Leonard Fournette stopped in the backfield. He doesn't bring his legs. Leonard Fournette is able to twist and turn and get some first down. I didn't think he had it, Skip, but you know what? Once they go to the replay, they're probably not going to overturn the call. We saw that with the Dak situation in New England, and we've seen it a couple of other times that when they make a call first down on the field, more times than not, they're not going to overturn it, especially when it's in a pile, and we can't really see where the ball's at. And then, on the touchdown, Skip, Edmonds, what do they tell you when you cross the street, Skip? They say, look both ways. He looks, the shallow cross goes one way, he looks that way. But you got to look both ways. Something might be coming back. Perriman crosses his face, Brady sees him late, dumps it to him, gives him a perfect ball, in stride, and now he's off to the races. And so for me, Skip, 3 points on the final 6 possessions in the second half, and overtime, before the overtime situation, that's not Tom Brady. And he missed Godwin. Probably could have put the game away early, Skip. He missed Godwin a couple of times on some throws that we've seen Tom Brady. Rarely will he miss Godwin. Godwin makes some of the toughest catches, and always on crucial situations. He's looking for Godwin. If you say Gronk is his favorite receiver, Skip, Chris Godwin is his second favorite. Because those collisions that over the ball, tough catches, Godwin more times than not is going to come down with that. So I gave him a 7. Only for the fact the overtime drive is worth 2. Had it not been for that, Skip, that was a 5. But the defense bowed their back when they needed to. They got a 3 and out, gave Tom the ball back. Tom went down the field and dealt with Tom has done so many times before. But He had a bunch of yards, had an opportunity to throw an interception, and when you play in Brady, Skip, you can't give him those. If he hits you in the chest with one, you better catch it. Because I guarantee you, he's going to make you pay later for not making him pay earlier. So I gave him a 7.
7.
7.
That is huge for the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe to actually, you ride the elevator.
I ride the elevator. I run
up the stairs, but you rode the elevator up. On the way up, it's just one floor.
One floor.
From 1 to 2. Shannon Sharpe says, I'm going to go up, 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 up. I'm going to go up 2 floors. I'm going to go from 5 to 7.
I went from 1 to 2, so I went from 5. I went up 2.
I did not need to walk up the stairs to figure out what my grade was going to be or my rating was going to be. I'm a 9 on a scale of 10, and I will give you the very quiet second half. But Tom Brady proved once again yesterday he is the 8th wonder of the world. Mm-hmm. He is a miracle worker of the highest magnitude. And I would like to make it clear that he wasn't up against some chopped liver yesterday.
Right.
He was up against the number one, according to Pro Football Focus, the number one pass defense in all of professional football. He was up against a defense that statistically has allowed the second fewest points in all of professional football. And he did have an overall QBR yesterday of 75. Mm-hmm. That's on a scale of 0 to 100, and it was the second best QBR of the day yesterday to Russell Wilson, who got to play the Houston Texans, and he had a 93, but still Tom was second with the 75.
Right.
So what have we seen with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You know how it feels to be defending champs of the National Football League. Mm-hmm. They are the classic "Are we there yet?" team because they want Buffalo, when it gets to 24-3, they want Buffalo to roll over and play dead and go home.
Right.
Go back up to the snow and leave us alone, right?
Right.
No, they're not going to leave you alone. They want the playoffs to start tomorrow. But no, we've got 17 regular season games this year, and you're just going to have to ride it out until you get to try to do what you set out to do when you all came back for a hometown discount to try to run it back in Tampa Bay, right?
Yep.
So it was a classic case yesterday of the first half was domination. I said, there it is, tour de force. That's the team that I believe is going to go back and win a second straight Super Bowl. And then what happened in the second half? Nothing happened because Josh Allen and company put up 302 yards in the second half alone. I'm talking about just in regulation, 302. Brady's offense put up 110.
Right.
So that's what happened in the second half.
Including that 84 on the drive, they wish they got the 3 points.
That is correct. So if we look at the big picture of what happened yesterday, Tom Brady set the all-time completion record. And he did it, as Brady always does, with a dramatic flourish. If we could see the pass upon which he set the all-time
to Mike Evans.
This is spectacular. This is a fall away, lead him to the 3-yard line. This is not an easy throw, and he dropped a dime on him, right on the out of bounds, right at the, 2-yard line.
Yep.
What a throw that was.
That was a heck of a throw.
Fall-away throw, and with a blitzer right in his face, he pulls that off to break the completion record, right?
Right.
And then if we could see the touchdown throw to Mike Evans, you want to talk about a rocket? It was a great catch, but it was also a great throw. If we could see the one to the corner of the end zone.
It was a poor angle by the safety, too.
Well, it was, but it was a rocket shot if we could see the touchdown pass to Mike Evans. This is, you want to talk about arm strength? That is a frozen rope, and it's a great catch by a guy who's about 6 feet 5 inches tall because he had to snag that rocket kind of on the back end of the football.
He did.
You know how hard that is to do, and he barely hung on, but it was a great throw and a great catch, and it demonstrated the firepower of what they can do when they are right.
Right.
And in the first half, we had, let's go, Tom. We had a lot of psycho Tom because we had him running like a maniac in the first half. if we could see, he had one 12-yard run. Could we please see the 12-yard run? This is his longest run, obviously, in the last 10 years. If we could see this, he just takes off. That looks pretty good for 44, right? Pretty good for 44 years old. And I think he got a kick out of that. In fact, I think that play right there is why he is still playing at 44 because that's a rush right there for a 44-year-old man to be able to pull off a 12-yard run in the middle of what he called the game of the year for the Bucs against obviously a legit Buffalo team. Who, by the way, their pass defense was so good against New England that Bill Belichick just shut down. He didn't even try to throw against them, right?
No, why throw when you can run? And you saw Leonard Fournette. When was the last time Leonard Fournette had a 100-yard game? He had 19 for buck 13 and a 47-yard touchdown run.
That helped because half of it came on basically one soiree to the end zone.
But instead of throwing the football, what if teams decided to do against Buffalo? Run it down their throat. You see Tennessee. You see teams that have beaten them, the Jags. You see what Indy did. You saw what New England did. Yeah, they might have the number 1 pass defense, but they might be number 30 or 29 in rush defense.
Yep.
So teams are saying, you know what? Why try to throw the ball and put it in the harm's way when we can just run it down your throat? And you just said your guy had his longest rush in a decade.
He did.
So that just goes to show you how poor they are at stopping the run.
Okay, and by the way, my guy also capped off his running prowess with 2 quarterback sneaks, one for a first down, one for a touchdown. And he mixed it up with the Bills after each one of them. Yeah, they got into it.
Well, then tell me what this is about, Skip.
This is a 44-year-old.
It's a rush. Yeah. You're running the football. They tackle you, Tom. You can't.
Yeah. Could we please see those 2 real quick? Bang, bang. This is a quarterback sneak for a first down in the first quarter, and he's all into it, man. They're pushing, they're shoving. He's shoving back. Look at this. That's a 44-year-old. He's into it. He's fighting.
Skip, what does he expect them to do?
Leave me alone.
They don't leave you alone. You try to get the first. I'm trying to stop you.
That's a big defensive end, Oliver. Okay. Yeah. There's the other one for the touchdown, and he's into it again. He's pushing. I think he took a couple swings at guys. This is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. This is age 44, and he's going fisticuffs with Buffalo Bills after quarterback sneaks.
Does he expect them not to tackle him?
No, he doesn't. He's just showing you. You want to talk about fight? He's got some fight left in him, right? You don't think that would inspire you if you were one of his receivers?
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, Skip, I'm watching it, and it's like he's making it out that they're doing something they shouldn't do. You're still trying to get the first down, Skip. The guy just, on the first one, Skip, that you showed, the guy just picks him up by his waist. He didn't try to dump him down on his head. He was just like, nah, Tom, you can't get any more yards. And Tom got upset. I guess Tom got upset because he was standing over him. I think that's what he got upset about. Okay. And then that was Skip. He's digging forward. It's on the goal line. You know how hard that is.
Okay, you want to move your scale of 1 to 10 up to an 8?
No, I'm going 7.
You're going 7?
Skip, because he only got 3 points in the second half outside of the overtime game. He was 8 of 16.
Okay.
8 of 16 for 76 yards in the second half with as many times as they threw the ball.
Okay, let's go to robbery, because a lot of people thought that the Bills got robbed.
They did.
And you think that also, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to late in regulation. Let's go to the key flashpoint moment. It's 3rd and 2 at the 7 to Stephon Diggs on Carlton Davis, if we could, please. Okay, it is a battle. It is a hand fight battle into the corner. And I thought that early on in that, I thought Diggs shoved Carlton Davis before Davis tried to fight back. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to throw a flag on that. I'm not going to decide the game on that play. I don't see pass interference. That's a no call to me.
But let me ask you, and here's the thing, and this is the problem that you're up against. I tweeted, Tom Brady makes that throw, that's a PI. Tom Brady makes a later throw to Mike Evans, in which Mike Evans pulls the DB into it. We're going to get there. So that's all I'm saying, Skip. If it's a call one way, you got to make it a call the other way.
Okay. Well, let's go to that one, because it's pretty much the. Hold on. Let's go in order.
Okay.
Let's go to the Fournette first down, third down play, right? Okay, let's see if Fournette got this, because this is just me. If you want to say robbery on this play, you got me, because I don't think he got there.
I don't think he got there either.
I've seen it from every angle, and everybody says, well, there was a last-second push right here. I don't think he got there.
I still don't think, because the ball is in his left hand.
Okay. So that's 3rd and a 1, and so now
that means you force him to go for it. Either go for it,
or you have to, right? And could you make it? I don't know. I'm not going to bet against the GOAT, but again, I'll give you robbery on that one, which leads to the very next play. It's deep to Mike Evans,
right?
And that would be on Levi Wallace, if we could see that throw. And Mike Evans tries to come back for it, and I thought he was being fouled all the way up the field. Okay,
look at Mike Evans' hands.
Okay, did Levi turn to look for the ball? No, he did not.
But as long as I don't touch him, Skip, he's pulling. Okay. If I reach Skip, you can't say, I'm blocking you. He got his arm on his back, pulling him.
He's just trying to get up over the top of him, right? Well, I mean, is Levi Wallace not fouling him all the way up the field? He's all over him. He's pushing him. He's got his hands up.
Look where Mike Evans' hand is.
Okay, well, he's not pulling him. He just reached around. He's just trying to reach over him to try to catch the football.
Well, the ball ain't on my back.
There's no pull.
Yes, it is.
There's no pull at all.
What is that?
No, there's no play. He's just trying to reach for the football.
Skip, that man never made a play for the ball.
Okay. Well, what happened to my Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving? It's the same play that Anthony Brown got called for, and it lost the game. Am I right?
But your guy really did.
Everybody gets called for this.
Your guy really did that to us.
Huh?
Your guy, Anthony Brown, really did.
Well, he just kept running, but was it any worse of a pass interference than that one?
I think the thing was he had already gotten 3, so it's like, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and give him that 4th one.
Give him the 4th. Oh, Anthony Brown.
Yeah, Anthony Brown. You already had like 3.
Well, you might be right. But again, I get that one because I see it every Sunday in nearly every game. That's an automatic yellow flag throw right there. So I'm sorry.
But let me ask you a question, but Skip, we see Devontae Adams gets that call every week. We just saw him get one last night. We see receivers get those calls, especially in those situations. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, look, if you're not going to call it one way, you can't call it, you can't say the game was determined. I don't want to determine the game on that. Well, you helped determine the game on the Mike Evans play.
Okay. Help me out on this one. If we could go back to a play with 8:27 left in the game.
Okay.
It's a 2nd and 9 play from the Tampa Bay 11-yard line.
Okay.
And Brady throws one up, a deep ball for Gronk. And see what we see here. See what we see from Dane Jackson. Tell me he's not just all over him if we see it from the other side. Tell me this isn't a foul. This is just, he's holding him, he's grabbing him. I mean, that's just pass interference. Guess what? Nothing got called on it.
But here's the thing, Skip. If you look at it the last second, Gronk shoves him away. I think that's why they didn't call it, because Gronk uses his left arm, watch Gronk's left arm to disengage him. You see? That's why that...
I don't see any shove. He's just grabbing him all the way up the field. Would you not throw your flag on that?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, come on. This is the old Shaq treatment. This is
Skip,
like...
watch Gronk's left arm. You don't think he
shoved him?
Yes.
I don't see a
Skip,
shove.
See, no, you can't say because the guy doesn't fall down. All I need is to break his rhythm. If I break his rhythm and get a little separation, that's all I need. Watch Gronk's left arm. Watch his head.
Well, is he not just grabbing it? He's got a hold of his jersey up on top of his shoulder pad.
Well, Skip,
if you give Tampa Bay that call, I'm telling you, this game's going to end a lot sooner than it did.
We saw the same play. The guy grabbed Stephon Diggs' T-shirt. He has his T-shirt outside, and the guy's grabbing it. You can see, the official can see it pulling it.
Okay.
And they don't throw a flag.
I agree, but there were several on Gronk where they just say play, because you're, what is he, 6'6", 270 or whatever.
But they came back and got one. They got one later on it. They called it. They end up calling that one.
Okay, they did, but only one for the game. So, and speaking of Gronk, the very next play after the Mike Evans play, Brady throws a little swing pass to Leonard Fournette. He loses 7 yards, and they're back in jail again.
Right.
So they were in big trouble. And it would be second and 17 from the 18-yard, I'm sorry, the 28-yard line. He hits Gronk for 14 yards.
Right.
I think we have that. And this was kind of a game saver because it gave him a chance.
Johnson comes up and takes a horrible angle. I don't know what he's thinking.
Okay.
Play your leverage inside out. Don't overrun it. You're right there.
Yep.
Come on.
This is why Brady said Gronk's the GOAT, because he's so clutch.
Yeah.
When he goes, every late throw, it seems like half of them are to Gronk for big clutch games.
Right.
Okay, that leads to the final play of the game. If we could see it again, the walk-off.
Edmonds crossing the street, both sides, bruh. It's over.
Yeah.
I know once he caught that, I said it's over because they're in man coverage.
Well, were they man or was it just a zone? Because he's a linebacker on a
Well, here's the thing. Somebody blew this. Either 30,
I think
either
it's a
30.
Zone. Yeah.
Because it looks like 30 was like tracing like, I don't know what's going on. Because he chased, watch 30. He goes with Mike Evans. Yeah, they blew that. 30 blew that.
Okay.
That's a zone.
Because
30 blew that.
Tremaine Edmonds obviously was the 16th overall pick back in 2015 out of Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got some game, but he doesn't have that kind of speed or game. And Perriman's done nothing for them, but he can run.
Right. Oh, he can fly.
He was once a first-round draft pick who's bounced all over the league.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
he's been in Baltimore, he's been in the Jets, he's been with the Patriots.
He has. And all of a sudden, Brady said, I kind of like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the play of the game, he's the far outside of the three receivers over to the left. And all he does is run the shallowest cross.
Yeah.
And the ball actually, if you can see it actually gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. But Brady, a little lucky on that one. It got where it needed to go.
Right.
And it was just, once he turned it up, nobody was home. This ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. It starts to wobble.
Yeah, but something's not, because it looks like 30 turns and runs with Mike Evans. Everybody else, it seems like they're manning. So I'm not sure, is it man? Was he supposed to pass that off and stay? But Somebody blew something.
Would you have a backer on a wideout?
No, because he doesn't it looks like he's playing an area. Or maybe the Leonard Fournette block. Run that back. Let me see it one more time. See what Leonard Fournette did. Because he might have Leonard Fournette. Yeah, Leonard Fournette. He got Leonard Fournette, man, and Leonard Fournette stays in and blocks.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, boy, that might have been, they blew that.
Okay, well, they blew it big time, and all of a sudden the GOAT goated.
Yeah.
So, in the end, do you want to raise it up to maybe an 8?
I'm staying with a 7. Because he still had 16 attempts for 8 completions for 76 yards in the second half. But here's the thing, Skip. This is what makes Tom Brady good. And this is what we tried to play when we were in Baltimore in 2000, Skip. When they make a mistake, they in the wrong coverage, or they blow an assignment, hit your head on the goalpost. Because when you make a mistake, they're going to hit our quarterback in the back, and he's going to fumble the football.
Okay.
And so what Tom Brady does, when you make a mistake defensively, he doesn't make it a 20-yard gain. He ends the night.
He housed it. He did.
That's the difference between Tom and a lot of other guys. Skip, they'll get you 20 yards. They're like, oh yeah, we're first down. Tom says, no, I'm turning out the lights in the building. Good night. Thanks for coming out. Drive safe.
Okay. How cool was it? That was his 700th touchdown pass to walk it off. Is that not vintage Brady?
Yes. He probably didn't even know that. I had no idea. That's what that was.
Okay.
But I just know it was a clutch throw in a clutch moment. And we've seen guys throw the ball in the dirt or throw the ball behind. Now, what if he throws the ball behind him? Perriman catches it, but Edmonds is able to make the tackle right there.
Might have.
That's the difference between the good and the great and the historically great players.
And the GOAT.
They throw it in full stride. Don't break a stride, bro. Hit your head on the goalpost.
Final point. To me, I was more impressed with the longevity record, which obviously the completions are, because he's played a whole lot of years. Mm-hmm. He's 44 years of age. What are we into now? I've lost track of the seasons that he's played.
Oh, 22.
22. Okay, we're 22nd season. So it's a LeBron-esque longevity record, except that it was in the game of the year against the toughest defense they're going to play all year, against the best pass defense they're going to play all year, to pull it off with that throw against that defense under those circumstances to get to 10-3 and still have a shot at home field advantage throughout the playoffs by winning the 1 seed in the AFC. I mean, sorry, the NFC. That's impressive to me because it has magnitude around it. It's not empty calories.
And the thing is, Skip, we're going to see what the Cardinals do tonight because they still have the outside track in Green Bay. You know, Green Bay has Minnesota. I think they got Detroit again. And so they got a pretty easy schedule coming down the stretch because you got Minnesota and you got Detroit again to see what transpires. So right now, they needed that game, Skip, to stay on an outside. Right now, I think they're on the outside with Green Bay and the Cardinals on the inside track to get the #1 seed. But given what they're capable of doing, they won't. Sure, they would love to have home, the road to Super Bowl, going to wherever the Super Bowl is, SoFi, coming through Tampa. But don't think for 1 second, they wouldn't feel very comfortable going on the road to Arizona, going on the road to Lambeau, knowing what they represent. Considering what we saw with Green Bay and their special teams and their defense at points last night.
Okay, the Bucs are going to win out because they're just going. I'm sorry, because they get a revenge game against New Orleans at home. They get
that's Sunday night, I think.
Two Carolinas and one at Jets in the middle of those two. I think they're
at the Jets, or the Jets come to them, Skip.
It's at Jets.
It doesn't matter.
But Brady set his personal record with 21 home touchdown passes. That's his best ever. So, way to go, GOAT.
Well, Skip, I mean, nobody throws it more. No team runs it less. So, I mean, he throws the most passes, and he's sacked the least. The ball's getting out of his hands. I mean, I've never seen a team throw more wide receiver screens than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You've got it. Flaunt it.
Yeah, he makes it look easy, and he was celebrating that with a smile.
No mercy.
Mike McCarthy guaranteed a win, but it was anything but easy for Dallas as they snuck away with a 27-20 win against Washington. Dak Prescott threw 2 picks, but the other side of the ball came up huge, led by Micah Parsons, who finished with 2 sacks and a forced fumble that led to a defensive touchdown. So, Shannon, what's the biggest reason the Cowboys won?
Defense. And that's the reason they've been winning a lot of these ball games, Skip. And I know it's concerning because you're hoping at the beginning of the year, if my Cowboys can be middle of the pack, slightly above that, with the offense that we have, Dak, Amari, CD, Gallup, the tight end, Zeke, Tony Pollard, that offensive line, we're going to be gravy. We're going to make a run. Skip, with your offense playing like this, you can't go very far. Dak's been terrible. There's no other way around it. Since he suffered that calf injury, Skip, with the exception of the Atlanta game, Dak has been awful. And there's no other way around it. A defense only allowed 224 total yards. They forced 4 turnovers, scored a touchdown on one of those turnovers, 5 sacks, 2 by Micah Parsons, and you only win by a touchdown? Dak had a QBR of 10, and the only reason they won that game is because Taylor Heineke had a 5. If he gives you 30, you lose this game, Skip. If he has a 30 QBR, you lose this game. I don't know what Dak is seeing. Dak should have had an interception. They got 3 points on the first drive. He hit 29 right in the hands. I don't know where he was throwing the ball. I was like, are you throwing it to a CD and it gets away from you? Did you underthrow Gallup because it was kind of like in the same area? And it surprised 29, but the ball hit him in his hands. And I'm like, Dak, you got the game, Skip. We good. We gravy. All we got to do is just run some time off the clock, punt it, we good. Dak throws a pick 6. I'm like, Dak. Skip, you got to admit, this is the worst stretch of football you've seen Dak play. And it has to be maybe ever. I can't recall. And we watched the Cowboys since we've been on this show, Skip, started September 2016. This is the worst stretch of football that I've seen Dak Prescott play. And I'm talking about that's without Zeke, that's without Tyron Smith. Even when they went to Atlanta, that was a bad game, Skip, but he didn't have a stretch of bad games like he's put together now. I don't even recognize Dak. Dak was in the MVP discussion. Now his QBR dropped all the way down to 23. He was bad. He was awful yesterday. And now Ty Smith is out again. He got rolled up from behind. You won this game because your defense has been outstanding again. Let me see, on third down, Skip, they were like
3 for 14.
That'll win you a bunch of games. If you look at what they're doing, yeah, Washington got some plays. But when the rubber needed to meet the road, they said, nah, not today, bro. You're not going any further as far as you're going to go. You either kick the field goal or you punt it. So the defense is why you're winning these games. And I'm not so sure. Your defense is playing outstanding, but the question is, Skip, they took the ball away. Now, the teams that you're going to play in the playoff, you play the Bucs, you play the Packers, you play the Cardinals, you play one of these other teams. I believe their quarterbacks are a little better than Taylor Heineke. I believe so. I could be wrong. Rodgers and Kyler Murray and Tom and Stafford, they might not be. Some people like, nah, we like Taylor Heineke better than those guys. But you can't. They're doing a great job of taking it away, but, Skip, I don't know if you're going to pin all your hopes. Dak is going to have to play better, Skip. And I told you this, Skip. Why is Zeke playing? Skip, you had to put CeeDee Lamb in the backfield and toss it to him.
Loved it, actually.
Skip, you can't.
He can go Debo on you.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Skip, why not let Zeke? Okay, you got a 3-game lead with 4 games to play. Don't you want to let Zeke get healthy?
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to interrupt you quickly. Tony Pollard is likely gone for the season with a torn plantar fascia. Bottom of his foot. Likely gone for the season. I'll be shocked if he comes back.
You know why they won't risk Zeke? Because they've seen Dak Prescott play the last month, too. And what we thought that in case our running game abandoned us, Dak could throw us to victory, that's not a foregone conclusion anymore, Skip. Dak was bad yesterday. I'm glad you didn't ask me to give him a grade because I'd have gave him the same grade you would have gave him.
Well, how could you give him anything above an F minus?
Okay. I was just checking because, sometimes you grade on the curve, especially for your Cowboys, but you graded it straight up with that one.
Not when you make $75 million for this football season. And it looks like you should be making $7.50 an hour for your performance, right? My turn. I believe my head coach is slowly but surely being exposed as fraudulent. As much as I love my owner, when he operates as the general manager for my Dallas Cowboys, he often comes across as kookier and kookier, like the craziest old 79-year-old uncle you ever had at Thanksgiving or Christmas, who messed up the day and the night, but everybody just finally sat back and said, it's just Jerry, right? You just leave him alone. Well, I can't leave him alone because he won't leave me alone. You mentioned my quarterback. I don't know what's happened to my quarterback, except that in his career, he's had 10 QBRs below 30, and he lost every one of those games. Yesterday, he had a 10, a career-low 10, and he won the game.
He won.
He won it with little to no running game because right now Ezekiel Elliott has plummeted south down to, once again, he is averaging a new low career yards per game. Yeah. I told you, every year he's been in this league. We're now in year 6. Down. We're talking about yards per game.
Yeah.
Started off at 106, and it just kept going down.
Right.
Every year it went down. Now he's all the way down to 62.3, and he had his usual, 13 for 45?
12 for 45.
12 for 45. It's just, isn't that what he does now? He goes 12 for 45, and he tries hard, and every once in a while he'll just sort of suck it up and run through the brick wall and get you about 7 maybe, wasn't that his long run?
Yep,
and the only way we got to 100 yards was Dak had a 10-yarder and CD had a 10-yarder, and now the new backup, Corey Clement, late of the Eagles. He was pretty good for them in their little Super Bowl run, right?
Yeah, he caught a touchdown.
Pretty good. He caught a touchdown. Well, he had an 11-yarder, so there's like 130 yards right there on those 3 plays from non-Zekes, right?
Yep.
Tony Pollard was like a godsend for me because he has a gear. He has an escapability. He has a 7th or 8th gear that fools people. He can break away, and as we saw against the Raiders, run it 100 yards back, or as we saw at New Orleans, he can get loose for 60 yards. Go to the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure he's gone. So what am I left with? I never in my wildest dreams thought I would say this publicly, but my team is going to go as far as Micah Parsons carries my team. Micah. I have never seen anything like Micah Parsons as a rookie. I don't even remember LT, the great I'm not talking about LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm talking about that guy, Lawrence Taylor. I don't remember him as a rookie wreaking quite this much havoc. No. But all of a sudden, this has turned from Dak's team to Micah's team. Overnight, I sat back yesterday and said, that's it. My defense is now my offense. Am I right?
Yep. They give you short fields and they give you touchdowns.
Shannon Sharpe, here's the craziest stat of the year. Would you believe my defense that was all-time historically bad last year, especially against the run? Would you believe on 3rd down, my defense now ranks #1 in pro football? Yeah. #1, the Dallas Cowboys defense is #1 on 3rd down. That's how you win football games. That's how you go to Washington against your arch rival when your coach has guaranteed a victory and your owner has brought in Dallas Cowboy benches and installed them with heat and logos across Dallas Cowboys. So
product placement.
Right, product placement. And you don't think that would inspire the home team to say, not on our watch, not on our field. We saw what happened when the Raiders tried to have a little team meeting out on the Kansas City logo, right? Did that not backfire?
Yeah, it didn't go over well.
It didn't backfire because only one team had Micah. All of a sudden, the Dak attack has turned into Micah's Marauders because they just maraud all over the field. They just take the ball away like crazy. Look what they're doing. They have 27 takeaways, which is second only to the Colts at 29. Who would have thunk my defense could do this? It's because 11 from heaven is everywhere. And now for my pettest peeve of the year, I got to say it one more time. They won despite the fact that my coaching staff is trying desperately to screw him up. Would you believe that going into the game, only 52% of his snaps were as a pure pass rusher? Right. What did Pro Football Focus grade him as last week? We talked about it. #1 pass edge rusher in the game. Why would you drop him back to a middle linebacker? Why would you have him having the back coming out of the field goal, covering the back out of the field goal, or sometimes dropping him into quarters where he's going to go downfield and cover wide receivers? Would you? I don't have the exact snaps from yesterday because I don't keep like 3rd level stats. Right. But I think it was probably about 55 to 45% edge rush. Right. Well, why wouldn't it be 100% edge rush?
Well, you can't put him in the edge rush because you got D-Law and you got Randy Gregory.
Who's better?
But you saw what they did on 3rd down. They bumped D-Law inside. They brought Randy Gregory. They had Armstrong. They had Neville Gallimore.
And by the way, I don't mind it if they stand Micah up in the middle of the line and just let him just pick a hole.
Well, he does that a lot, Skip, because it confuses because you have the guy go one side, the center has to take him, and if the back is not on his game, you see how quick he got on the back and got the sack. And so you have to be, basically, if I'm a running back and I know I got responsibility and Micah Parsons is my responsibility, Skip, I'm stepping up. I'm going to be in front of the quarterback. I'm going to be in the A gap. I'm going to meet him because he's too quick, Skip. He closes the distance so quick.
He has the best closing speed of any pass rusher in football.
Yes, he does.
I did not see that coming. I continue to congratulate you. You said he was the best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah.
I needed a corner.
But it wasn't close, Skip.
Yeah, I needed a cornerback, and Patrick Surtain is going to make the Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Surtain is really good.
He's legit.
Yes.
He's going to be 12-year Pro Bowler. So I would have been happy with that. I might even been happy with J.C. Horn. Not sure how he's going to play because he's been hurt.
Right.
But the point is, this guy has changed the way the Dallas Cowboys play football. And whatever chance they have of winning a home playoff game, because they're about to get one, that they've just got to close the deal. If they could go up,
win one game and they're good.
Pretty good. If you can go, they go to the Giants now. Could they go beat the Giants? I think they can. Well, I think they can. Giants always get up for them.
Well, the thing is, I don't know, Skip. You might not be able to beat them if your offense keep dilly-dallying around like they did. But the question is, can the Giants offense score against the Cowboys defense? Skip, the thing is, late in the ball game, Skip, this is where you pay $75 million. This is why you give Dak Prescott $40 million. Late in the ball game, if I need a game-tying drive or a game-winning drive, I believe Dak can do it. Also, if I'm up by 3 points, Dak gonna take care of the football. If we don't get a couple of first downs, run some time off the clock, we punt it away if we can't run at the clock. The last thing you expected him to do, Skip, that was a horrible pick six.
Skip, have we seen it? I don't know if we've shown it yet.
That was horrible. Please, I don't even know what he saw.
Lord have mercy.
Skip, how does he not see? Skip, the guy's right there.
He's got the rusher up in his face who jumps up, and he just doesn't see him. And I just sat back and said,
look at this. Look at Skip.
He tries to throw a sidearm Patrick Mahomes special, and it gets pick sixed. And I'm thinking, $75 million? It's impossibly bad. And could we please see the early interception, the overthrow of CD? Because it's like 10 yards over his head.
Yeah.
If we'd see the early
one. When Landon Collins got it?
Yeah, Landon Collins got him, but he's trying to get it to 88, and he just airmails it. And it's like, what do you see? What are you thinking? Seriously, that's just a bad idea. And it's insult to injury. Bad idea, really bad throw.
Sometimes I think, Skip, if you noticed, a lot of Dak's picks have come when he's trying to force the ball to CD.
Maybe.
That one right there, both of his interceptions, what was he trying to do? So I think the thing is, Skip, trust Gallup. Gallup makes the most unbelievable catches. That Dak throw on the sideline, the up and I'm like, bruh, it's okay. Amari comes and goes. I mean, you'll see Amari have a couple of great catches, and then he'll disappear for a quarter.
He does.
And I'm like, bro, is Amari still in the game? Did he get
Especially on the road, he just checks out.
Yes.
Don't know why.
He starts to drift.
Yep. So could we please see the first Micah sack fumble that Dorrance Armstrong returned? It was 29 seconds left in the first quarter.
Okay.
This is a hellacious hit and play. This is he clocked. I don't think Taylor Heineke was the same after this play.
No, he wasn't. No.
Because
he beat Skip. You know he beat an all-pro. That's an all-pro. That's an all-pro guard. That's Sheriff.
And just slammed him down.
Yeah. Oh, his head hit. That's the CD. Remember how CD? Yeah, his head hit the back. Yeah, of course.
That was vicious, and it was so sudden and so completely destructive.
Right.
The ball's loose. It felt like his head was going to go loose.
His head is loose also.
Right. And that's the kind of play that he makes where you say, that's just too good.
Right.
I'm telling you, I've said it for 3 weeks. I believe he is edged ahead as the defensive player of the year. You can do Myles Garrett, who had another big game and big sack, fumble recovery, and touchdown.
And that's the thing, Skip. I think it's going to come down because both of these guys, T.J. Watt and Garrett, has an outside chance of breaking Strahan's 22 sack. You know, I think it's 22 and a half.
Yeah.
22 and a half.
Yeah.
Now, if they get that, I don't know how Micah overcomes that. But Skip, he's right there. It's a three-man race now. It was Diggs for the first 5 to 6 weeks with all those picks.
He still leads with interceptions.
But his interceptions don't give you the impact that a sack does. Because you see what one man, Skip, really one man has changed the complexion of the Cowboys defense. One guy.
I got it.
I mean, all those guys that are doing what they're doing, Randy Gregory and D. Law and Diggs, they were there last year. They ain't look like this.
Did not. And yet Randy Gregory is coming alive.
Yes.
He's coming on. I think he has a chance also to make the Pro Bowl. And if we could see the last sack fumble on the other on the backup quarterback at the end of the game. I did not think this was a fumble. I thought he was throwing the ball forward. If we could see the Kyle Allen play, I thought he got his hand going forward, but whatever. It saved me.
But I think they say the ball slipped out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, look, only Brady getting that. You're not getting the tuck rule.
Okay, but that's Randy Gregory.
And he had a pick. Remember, he had a pick.
Oh, and I forgot about Will you see the Randy Gregory pick?
Yeah, he got a pick.
Because now you're looking at 2 Pro Bowl caliber pass rushers, and you can mix and match them from either side.
And I got a Pro Bowl defensive end that I can bump to the D tackle and pass rush downs and come get you. And I still got Basham. I still got Watkins. Dorrance Armstrong. You see Neville Gallimore bull his guy into the quarterback on top of him.
He is disruptive interior rusher. And that Odigizua, the rookie out of UCLA, has been pretty good as a disruptor.
Yes.
So all of a sudden,
I
got to tell you, my defensive line is up there, man.
They go 8 deep.
Is there any better than this one in depth and firepower? No. Especially with Micah having arrived.
No. Because they can go 8 deep from a defensive standpoint, and they can rotate them and keep them fresh. And each guy is a little different. Gregory and Parson are more alike. Skip. They got bendy. They got Gumby. They can bend the edge, but they can also go power to speed in the blink of an eye. Michael Parsons, the moment he see you oversetting him, he coming right through your inside shoulder, and that's what he did to Sheriff. Came right through his inside shoulder.
He did.
And hit him hit Heineke in his mouth.
Last point, Trevon Diggs did get beaten by Sims for the deep ball, which surprised me because I think he had his sights on it. He just didn't quite get up to the apogee of it and pull it down.
He had got beat on another play, and Heineke underthrew it.
He did.
He got on the other side.
Okay, but you know what? There were a whole lot of plays when he had McLaurin in single coverage, and McLaurin is a game breaker, and it was the best game of coverage I have seen from Trevon Diggs in his career. I'm talking about wall to wall. I got you, and I'm going to take you out. Guess how many catches McLaurin had yesterday? Zero. He had 0 catches.
He did a number on him. He did a number on him.
4 targets, 0 catches?
I think the thing is, Skip, he knew that he couldn't take the risk that he normally takes. And sometimes I think he underestimates, like Sims came in, he kind of underestimating him a little bit. He had the other guy McLaurin had him beat on the other side, and he got underthrown. But the dude, I forget what's his, Carter, might be Carter. Skip, he had a deep ball. He dropped it. We might be having a different discussion.
We might.
But give the defense credit.
Hey,
if I'm you.
And little Jordan Lewis, I'm telling you, he's a playmaker. He's the one who came up and stripped Antonio Gibson. So that's the 4th turnover.
Skip, what's good? As happy as you are about your defense, you should be equally concerned about your offense.
I'm horrified. I've never seen anything like it. I thought we were going to be all offense and very little defense, and the script has flipped on the fly to the point where we're just going to go as far as 11 carries us.
You say now you say, man, if my offense doesn't mess this up, my defense can carry us to maybe the NFC Championship game or who knows even further. As long as the offense doesn't mess it up.
Or the coach or the GM, right?
Well, you already know they're going to.
I got triple trouble.
You already know they're going to muck it up.
Okay. Well, here we go. But all of a sudden, 3-game lead with 4 to play. I'll take that.
Because you got Washington, Philly, and the Giants. In Arizona.
We got Arizona. We got to deal with Arizona. But that yesterday was huge.
Yeah. And you're going to get Arizona's best because they're going to still be vying for that number 1 seed. So you better. And Kyler, good luck corralling him. I want to see Micah and Kyler go head to head. You know, who you got? 1-on-1, Skip, who you got? You got Kyler, you got Micah. 1 versus 11.
That's tough.
I got 11.
Got 11?
What? You turned on your little Oklahoma guy?
I got the Rams tonight, too.
Go Rams, go. No, you want the Rams to win because you want Tampa to get that number 1 seed. You think you slick, Skip Bayless. You talking about, I got the Rams today. You've been against the Rams the whole year.
Is Dallas completely out of this? I don't know.
Dallas ain't getting on number 1 seed.
You don't know about that.
A little suspicious. Okay, we got to talk about Shannon's guy here. The king reigns supreme with 11 rebounds, 10 assists against the Magic in a 106-94 win in L.A. last night. At 36 years and 346 days old, LeBron passed Kobe Bryant as the oldest player to ever drop a 30-point triple-double. The Lakers have won their last 4 games to improve to 15 and 13, and LeBron has topped 30 points in each of these outings. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive How's LeBron?
I'm going to give him a 10. He was great again last night, Skip. Scoring the basketball, shooting 50%, getting his teammates involved with 10 assists, rebounding the basketball, 11 rebounds, and playing defense. You know, that man done told you, don't come to my party unless you drink a Laportier. They come in there with apple juice. He got to throw it out, Skip. It's an adult establishment. Don't bring kids' drink to my establishment. There wasn't no chase down. You saw one guy try to come at old LeBron. LeBron said, not in the house on my Dumbo. He can't do that, Skip. He's been great. Skip, LeBron James has only played 16 games. In 8 of those 16 games, he has at least 30 points or more. I mean, Kevin Durant, Giannis, I think, has 9. Kevin Durant has 11. But Kevin Durant's probably played 10 or 11 more games than LeBron. But you can see, we're going to talk about him a little later. But Skip, what he started out doing, the first quarter, first half, he's like getting everybody involved. He's like, okay, come on, guys, let's do this, let's do that. Then in the third quarter, he says, you know what, I've seen enough. This game is a lot closer than what it needs to be. So he scores 11 in the first half, and then he goes on a tear by himself with 14 points, 3 assists, and 2 blocks in the third quarter. And he turns a deficit into a 25-point lead. He did that. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you know, we go to the LeBron. I'm thinking to myself, Skip, I say, you know what? Man, LeBron about to get him the night off. Your old good rest time. Don't play again till Wednesday. Go on and get them out. Frankie B got to take a time out. Because LeBron out, and then all of a sudden they make the comeback. I was like, shh. And then he has to come back and bring some order to the establishment, hit a 3, get a another driving bucket. But he was great last night, Skip. I give him a 10 because he's still LeBron James. We're going to talk about this a little later about what some scouts and general managers are saying about him. But last night, in the past 2 nights in which he's played, he's been sensational.
The last 2 nights he's played the Oklahoma City Thunder, who lost by 73 points at Memphis. And last night he played the Orlando Tragic, who are now 5-23, having lost 12 of their past 13 games. And they were playing back-to-back because they had to play the Clippers on Saturday night in the same building, but they still had to play a basketball game without having to travel, but they had to play back-to-back while LeBron was resting. Actually, he just jetted off to Phoenix to watch Bronny play a basketball game.
So let me ask you a question. The Tragic, that's what you call them. If LeBron doesn't play and Anthony Davis play, do you believe they beat the Magic last night?
Yes, I do. Because the Magic are without their best player. I believe in Jalen Suggs because I've seen enough of him to say he's it.
He might, from what I've been seeing of Cole Anthony, I'm not so sure about that.
Okay, well, I'm not so sure either, but Jalen Suggs has not played. Okay, so he's out.
Okay.
And yet you're telling me to rank this game, my scale can only go up to an 8 against the Tragic because it's like a scale of 0 to 8. What do I give him? Well, I'll give him an 8 on that scale, but I won't give him a 10 because the scale doesn't go that high against Orlando.
No, Skip.
Because they're terrible.
Well, I'm glad you said
5-23, 12 of the last 13 they've lost.
I was hoping that we do Kevin Durant game so I can give him this 3. That 51-point game against Detroit he had last night, I was going to give him a 3.
He played by himself.
Well,
There was no James Harden.
Is Detroit the worst team in the Eastern Conference? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about GOAT. We're talking about GOAT. Skip.
Didn't Detroit give the Lakers all they wanted on Sunday?
We beat them.
I know, but they took it right to the wire.
Okay, Skip, this game was close until like the last 3 minutes of the ball game. But look, Skip, I get it, yes. But it says how impressive was LeBron. But remember, he's without AD. He's doing this. He has to orchestrate everything and still go get his 30, shoot the percentage in which he shot, get everybody else involved, rebound the basketball, and play defense. He did all of that. Yeah, Skip, even though, I get it. The Magic, this is not the Magic that just Shaq Magic. This is not even the Dwight Howard Magic. I'll give you that. But it still shouldn't diminish what he did at his age. When Tom Brady does something, you mentioned he's 44 years of age. We've never seen a guy, he's the oldest guy to ever get a 30-point triple-double. That means something, right?
Against Orlando?
Oh, my goodness. Now it's against
Without
Orlando.
Jalen Suggs? Really?
So Jalen Suggs was going to stop that.
Well, he's was he second pick in the draft?
No, he's a little further down than that.
He was up high, but I'm saying when I watched him early, he was changing the way they looked.
Cole Anthony's played well. You know, they got Terrence Ross coming off the bench that lights you up. Now, you know, he get hot and go get 25, 30 in the blink of an eye.
Well, they're not exactly the Buffalo Bills in what Brady called the game of the year for the Bucs.
That might have been the case of game of the year. I don't know. You can make a case Indy was the game of the year for the Bucs also, considering they were down where they were down at the half, Skip, and he played the way he played in the second half. But he's played, give them credit, to play Indy, to play Buffalo, and to win those games in the fashion in which they won the game. I will concede that. But I still think LeBron played really, really well, considering, Skip, he's still trying to find a rhythm. He's still trying to get his conditioning back, considering he missed that time. He come back for one game, gets suspended, he's out of the lineup again. So now to try to find his rhythm, he looked good to me last night. It just foreshadowing a sign of things to come.
So last year, LeBron James averaged 33.4 minutes per game.
Right.
After last night, he's all the way up to 36.8.
Yeah.
So he's almost up to 37. So it was like 33 and a half up to 37. Mm-hmm. That's a significant uptick in minutes played.
Well, I was hoping for Skip. He was supposed to sit out the rest of the game. But considering
was he?
Yeah. But Skip,
you don't think he would have tapped old Frankie V on the shoulder and said, I need to go back in and stat pad?
No, ain't no stat pad. Skip, all the stats Skip, if he doesn't do what he does last night, they're not winning that game. Skip, you keep saying they would have
Time out. Can we please see LeBron in the final minute of the game last night? I'm talking about the final minute. We're talking about shots taken at 56 seconds and down to 22 seconds left in the game. Here's LeBron. The game is way decided, and he's jacking up shots. A fadeaway from 20, and then we got him. This is the buzzer's going to go off, and he's shooting.
So what's he supposed to do?
Take the rest of the night off? He could have gone out with 3 minutes left and it would have been just fine.
They got our score. Hold on. They got our score of 32-21. Mm-hmm. So if LeBron doesn't...
By the time he'd come back in and made their little run for him, that was it. It was over. They're up 13-14. It's done.
No.
Huh? Mm-mm. That's called all-time stat padding.
Not stat padding.
Well, does it not look like it to you?
I know a guy that played almost 42 minutes last night, but I ain't going to say anything.
Who is that?
And I ain't going to call his name. We ain't talking about him.
He scored 51 points
I thought you didn't have James Harden. I thought you didn't know who I was talking about.
He didn't have James Harden.
You said you didn't know who I was talking about when I said he played 42 minutes.
Who's the best player on the planet right here, right now?
I mean,
who is it?
There are several guys in that conversation.
Several.
Yes, they are.
There's only one.
Skip, Giannis is not taking a back seat.
Okay, but
Steph Curry.
Who's leading?
Who's the MVP right now?
It's Kevin Durant.
I think it's a coin flip. I think
he's got a shell of James Harden who didn't go last night. Really?
Well,
it's kind of Kevin Durant versus the world. And he's leading the league in scoring, and he's the MVP because there's still a viable force in the East.
I do not believe with James Harden playing the way he's playing that Kevin Durant can lift this team out of the East against a healthy Heat or a healthy Milwaukee Bucks team. We'll see what's going to happen. But back to last night, LeBron was impressive. Okay, Skip, you want to give him an 8 for the simple fact that it was against the Orlando Magic. But you can't deny that it was impressive considering it's not like Skip, the Lakers are like 20-5. Skip, they're barely above 500.
Yep.
And we see what this team looks like when LeBron isn't there. This is the team that blew a 26-point lead and a 19-point lead to the OKC Thunder.
They did. Will you please just hold off all of your glorification?
No. We got something for them.
Okay, we got at Dallas on Wednesday night. At least could I please see a little triple-double at Dallas? Then I'll say, okay, you got me, because they're not bad. They're not great. How about at Minnesota? They've become dangerous.
Yeah.
They're a talented team.
Cat playing really well. Ant gonna be Ant.
Okay. How about at Chicago? That's the next game on Sunday, December 19th. How about it? It's an afternoon game. How about
Man, that's a 12:30 game, man.
Can you just 12:30 Pacific time?
Yeah, but Skip, you know at 12:30 Pacific time, why they do that to us? You know how West Coast teams do playing at that time slot, Skip. You know that. So why would Adam Silver do that to us?
Then you come home for Phoenix on December 21st, a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. local time. Phoenix, you like that? You want to get a case on that right now?
No. Because, Bron might not play. AD nursing that bug, that knee.
Play?
He might not, Skip.
Interesting.
Let's see what...
Then you got an easy one against my Spurs. And what's left of them.
I want a case on that one.
That's Thursday, December 23rd. There'll be no cases. But then we come down to case. We got lots of cases.
Oh, we got lots of cases on that one.
Close the case on what happens on Christmas Day at 5 o'clock local. It'll be 8 o'clock in the East. It will be the Brooklyn Nets. Who knows? It'll probably just be KD. He'll probably play 1-on-5 against the Lakers.
No, James Harden to be back by the end.
Think so?
James Harden to be back by the end.
Okay. Well, here, I'm giving you options. I'm giving you opportunities where you can show me, but don't show me against the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Orlando Tragedy.
He might not get triple doubles, but I still expect him to play extremely well, be very efficient from the floor. And that's what I like seeing, the efficiency in which he scored. He was 13 of 20, I think, on Friday night. He was 12 of 20 last night. At one point in time on Friday, he was 9 of 10. He was 11 of 14. As long as we keep seeing that efficiency, Skip, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah. These games don't look like stat pads to me. These are games you have to make those shots to actually win the game.
Ain't none of these games stat pad.
Right?
It's not, Skip. It's not like they're blowing, Skip. Even though they won last night, it wasn't like they beat this team by 25. They had them by 25, and I thought LeBron was going to be done at the start of the fourth quarter. I was like, oh, man, he's going to get these knees, put the knees on his back, his groin, his abs, his knees. LeBron about to be picked. Like, damn, Bron, check it back in the game.
And in the last minute of the game, he's jacking up jumpers, fallaways, saying, Kareem, I'm coming for you with this one. And I'm coming for you with this one. Unfortunately, missed both of them.
Yeah, he missed, but so in other words, he missed 2, so he'd have been 12 of 18. So he's 12 of 20. Bron, I can't believe you played that bad last night.
A long way to go to get to Kareem.
Okay. Guess what? We got a lot more years to go.
Well, do you?
We do.
Playing those kind of minutes?
Don't worry about the minutes. We don't count the minutes.
I got to knock on wood for
We
LeBron.
make the minutes count. Every time we out there, how can we influence? How can we impact the game in a positive manner? We can score. We can facilitate. We can rebound. We can block shots. We've seen that, right?
Against the Tragic.
No. We did that against. He blocked shots against 73 and 19. Won the NBA title.
That's when he had Kyrie as his.
Well, then Kyrie ain't blocked no shots. I'm saying what he did.
He shot.
I told you from the time that Kyrie left LeBron James, I say he will not ever, as long as LeBron play, be better than LeBron James. You said that he would.
Better sidekick, Kyrie or Russ? That's what it boils down to.
No, it don't.
And I say congratulations and good luck to you.
We'd already talked about this, Skip.
You handpicked Russ. Now live with it.
No mercy. The Cowboys backed up Mike McCarthy's guarantee with a 27-20 victory over division rival Washington on Sunday. And when asked about his head coach's strong prediction before the game, Jerry Jones had no problem with the bravado, saying, quote, that should be his attitude. He expects to win. He thinks we will win. I expect that. Shannon, do you like Jerry defending McCarthy here?
It doesn't mean anything, because if it blows up, Jerry hired this guy. He really didn't give any other coaches an opportunity to really interview for this job, because once Mike McCarthy came to his own, even the son said, Dad, what are you waiting for? You like the guy? Go ahead and hire him.
That's like 4 a.m.
Exactly. Skip, look, and plus Jerry has to back his guy because Jerry hired him. Skip, anytime you hire somebody, that's your signature on that guy. And so if it goes apart, they're looking at Jerry. You picked him. You handpicked this guy. But here's the problem. It's easy to guarantee a victory when you're 5-point favorite. Why didn't he guarantee a victory against the Bucs? Why didn't he guarantee a victory against the Chiefs? Jerry, this was your opportunity. You said it would be a hallmark victory. You didn't mention anything else. I guarantee you we win the game. Yeah. Why not? So now you get the Washington football team. They are a division rival, but they're without the 3 best defensive ends. Some of their best players are out of the ball game. Logan Thomas. And now what happened was, Skip, they went down to New Orleans. They won a game, hard-fought game against the Saints. Mike McCarthy was nowhere to be seen, and everybody was talking about how inspired they played with him being on the sideline. So I got to come back and let y'all know I'm still the coach. I'm still the coach here.
I told you that Friday.
We're going to go down to Washington, and we're going to win that ball game.
That's what he did. Watch this. Remember me?
That was all this was about. Now, if he really about that, I guarantee you we're going to be in the NFC Championship game. I guarantee you we making the Super Bowl.
You're saying he would make those
that would impress me. Mm-hmm. So when you get to the playoffs and I want to hear Jerry Jones and I want to hear Mike McCarthy, because that's what you're supposed to think, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to think you're going to win these games. So that's what I want to hear when the rubber needs to meet the road. I guarantee you we're going to beat the Bucs. I guarantee you we're going to beat the Packers. I guarantee it. We going to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, y'all just woofing.
With you 1,000%, 1,001%. I got to tell you, when I read these quotes from Jerry Jones defending Mike McCarthy, as in, please drop the mic, McCarthy, and get out of here, it made my stomach turn last night, because we all know that Mike McCarthy can get real wacky when he tries to clock manage at the end of games.
Yes.
We all know he gets even wackier and kookier when he tries his motivational ploys, such as smashing watermelons the night before games up in Minneapolis, or monkey butt powder that he used after their horrible loss where they were down 30-0 at home to your Denver Broncos.
Right. And he's easily influenced, Skip, because you remember when they went for the 2-point conversion, it was Jones Bones that said,
he said, hey, there's a penalty.
Yeah, and they gonna move it up.
You could see McCarthy going, really?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, you saw it too.
I saw it. I sat back. I said, there it is. There it is. Your special teams coach had to come up and say, hey, you want to go for two?
Go for two. Because the ball.
Why? Why would we go for two?
Yeah, let's go for two. And then all of a sudden,
Two.
Okay.
We got two.
Okay. I was just making sure I wasn't the only one that saw that.
You saw it. That's who this guy is. He's overmatched. I've never seen anything like it. I told you, I give in and bow down to Aaron bleeping Rodgers, because now I know for a fact he carried this man to a Super Bowl.
He did.
It was long ago in a galaxy far away, but he did that.
Yes.
He pulled it off.
Yes.
What was it, 10+ years ago now? But he did it, and it made Mike McCarthy a made man, which is why Jerry wanted to hire him. Plus, Jerry, he's just wacky enough that Jerry sort of he tunes into the wackiness of his coach, because he kind of gets a kick out of him, and he has now accepted him as yet another son. Mike McCarthy has become Jerry's son because he's a good hang for Jerry, because he likes to drink his beer and eat his nachos, right? And that's what Jerry loves on Friday afternoon. That's what he wants his coach to do with him. Let's go get us some beer and nachos.
Well,
kick it around.
You know Jimmy and Bill Parcells.
He did not do that, and it drove Jerry crazy that Jimmy would have his own beer and nachos party with Dave Wannstedt and the coaches.
The coach is correct, yes.
Okay, so this was classic the way he explained it, because the first thing he said was that he's fine with these kind of these guarantees, because he said anybody with common sense knows that you can't tell whether or not you're going to win the game. He said only God knows that. Well, I sat back last night. I've never heard Jerry talk about God before, but he says only God knows who's going to win the football game. Well, does that mean Jerry thinks that God's going to influence the outcome of?
Well, since he said it, God like the Cowboys, so.
I guess, are we going back to that? But then he just dives in head over heels to defend McCarthy, because he said, I'll tell you what, he is raring and ready, because he's been pinned up with his COVID.
With the COVID in the hotel room,
He's been pinned up. And so he's saying he loves this, because now we get to the real guts of this whole issue. He loves it because he says, this is Jerry, we as a franchise, we are the Cowboys. We put it out there. We know we do that. We ask folks to look at us, be interested in us, to follow us. So he's saying he loves the guarantees, even though every coach I've ever been around, I go all the way back to Chuck Knox and Bill Walsh and Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson, and up to Wannstedt in Chicago, they all say you can't. Terry Donahue used to teach me this when he was the GM of the 49ers. Yeah. It was always, can't do that. That more often than not, they backfire. Unless you're Jimmy before the NFC Championship game after the 94 season, when you've got the goods, man.
I got to promise you, when Joe Namath made his famous guarantee, Coach Eubanks probably said, Joe, what are you doing?
He pulled him aside at practice and said, what the hell are you doing? And I think Joe didn't mean to. He was just kind of talking. It was to a civic group, like it wasn't to the media.
Wasn't he probably was chilling.
He wasn't poolside. He was actually talking to a group of this is back in the day, they're trying to sell the Super Bowl. Right, it was the third one, right? He still wasn't on the map yet.
Right. So you can buy tickets game day. You just walk up to the box office to get you a couple of tickets and go to the Super Bowl.
Well, they ended up being like, I think they were 18-point underdogs in the game to the Baltimore Colts.
Right.
And then the rest, he was going off the field with his finger up there.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is, if you look at the history of guarantees, they usually backfire.
Right.
But again, Micah Parsons and company said, we got your back.
But Skip, you don't normally make the guarantee when you're the favorite.
No.
It's the underdog that makes the guarantee, Skip.
They were 5-point favorites.
Skip, what good is the favorite making the guarantee? You're the
Unless you're Jimmy at home with the Cowboys against Steve Young's 49ers. Because he's just saying, put it in headlines, we got this.
Right.
Because you know what? He knew. It's like he didn't need God to tell him. Jimmy just said, I got this.
Right.
We're just too good for them. And they were way too, what was the score, like 38-20?
Oh, yeah, they blew them out,
They blew them out. Okay, so Jimmy's not going to do it. Remember, Jimmy is a savvy, you see Jimmy at the card table in the casino. So he's basically card counting on the 49ers saying, I got you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that wasn't what happened here.
No.
McCarthy's just trying to say, hey, remember me? I'm the coach. And remember, there's a lot of us in the conversation.
Right. It was like, and then you can see wheels spinning, Skip.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm out here now. I might as well go ahead. Yeah, we're going to win.
We are going to win this game. Okay. And yet, what also happened yesterday, and Jerry was just spouting off about it, it's like Jerry can't lose for winning.
Right.
Because he's still got America's team on the road at Washington. And what happens when they go? Well, a lot of the old Washington fans won't go anymore because they're just done with Daniel Snyder.
And plus, it goes back, Skip. I was reading about it. It says a lot of times because the Cowboys had black players, Washington would not have black players. So a lot of the D.C. fans started rooting for the Cowboys because they wanted to see black players. And since even though we live in D.C., you won't get any black players. We're going to root.
Preston Marshall.
Yes, so we're going to root for the other team.
Okay, so again, about half the stadium yesterday was Dallas. It might even been more than half the stadium. And Jerry makes the point that they are the biggest memorabilia seller in the D.C. area is the Dallas Cowboys.
Outside of Texas.
Right. That's their number one destination for all of their caps and all their things, right? The T-shirts and whatnot.
Paraphernalia, yep.
Okay, so they know going in there that they want to impress you with their America's teamness because they're still America's team because of this.
Yes.
Well, to your point, they haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl since the 1995 season. That's a long time ago. And yet it still persists.
Right.
So Jerry's saying we're more of an entertainment vehicle than a winning vehicle. I've told you before, Jerry, I believe, prioritizes box office over wins. Box office over wins.
Because, Skip, sales isn't tied to winning.
Yeah.
Sales is tied to marketability.
Yeah.
And recognition. So Jerry's like, hold on. That star still exists.
Yeah.
It's still blue. We're still silver. So, okay, guess what? We haven't won as much as the Patriots. We haven't won much as the Steelers or the Broncos in the last 25 years.
Close.
But can't none of them touch us in merchandising.
Okay. And he's saying because they put themselves out there because they're always doing something outrageous.
Yeah. Doing or saying.
Does a day pass on the show that we don't talk about what Jerry Jones just said?
No.
Well, we're doing it again.
Right.
So he got me. You got me, Jerry. I got it.
Yeah.
But you actually won the game yesterday, so you got that going for you. But it was in spite of your head coach. It was in spite of the benches you put in there to warm your team up. It was in spite of all the outlandish things that you have done and said.
Right.
Your team backed you up in ways that it shouldn't have been able to.
Because think about it, Skip. Think about how good Coach Saban's teams have been in college. You think Coach Saban would say something like that, Skip?
Well, he's the opposite. He's about rat poison.
Rat poison.
He says, you people are planning rat poison in my locker room.
It is normal fatal. But the rat poison that you fed my kids this week against Georgia, said it was yummy. Because y'all told them how bad they were going to get beat. And they kept eating it. And they put something out there for you.
So Jerry concludes, all this, like McCarthy's guarantee, it creates the excitement, the reason I'm in this. Jerry just loves the melodrama of it because they do outlandish things consistently, and it sells. Right. It sells the Dallas Cowboys.
But, Skip, you can't guarantee a victory if you're the favorite. It needs to be the underdog.
Yeah, I mean, that would do it.
An elephant can't say, I guarantee y'all beat this mouse. I guarantee y'all will beat this mouse.
So will you guarantee that Mike McCarthy will guarantee a victory over Arizona at home?
No, I bet you won't mention anything about that's a tough team. We remember what they did to us last year. They got us again in the preseason. That's what he's going to do. He's going to give you all that coaching spiel. But now he got a team on the run. I guarantee we going to Washington. We're going to win. We're going to win that ball game. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I am dumbfounded as to how my team is 9-4 with Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones running the show.
Yeah.
Right? It's beyond comprehension, but it's happened.
But here's the thing. Right now, a lot of these games haven't come down to coaching. It haven't come down to strategy.
Yep.
And a lot of that happens once you get to
the Chargers game, the second game of the year, actually did.
And it almost cost him.
And Greg the Leg made a 56-yard field goal to take him off the hook.
Yes. But come playoff time, Skip, you know. Now you can't have your special teams coach, hey, they got a penalty. You know, we can move it close. We can go for 2.
We can?
Don't let me. That was my idea. That was my idea. That was my idea. Y'all saw it.
No mercy. Elite quarterbacks take center stage on Thursday Night Football as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. Well, Buffalo lost to Tampa in overtime, 33-27. But some fans in the Bills Mafia are crying foul after refs didn't throw a flag on a play late in regulation. The Bucs may have gotten away with pass interference in the end zone with less than 30 seconds in the fourth quarter, leaving the Bills to settle for a game-tying field goal instead of getting a win before overtime. So, Shannon, should they have made the call?
Skip, I believe they were robbed of consistency. My only thing is, as I understand, having played the game and followed the game for a very long time, if you're not going to make that call on Diggs, you can't make that call on Mike Adams the other way. On Mike Evans the other way.
Yep.
That's my only thing. That would have made it, if they make that call, it's 1st and goal at the 1-yard line with 25 seconds. For all intents and purposes, Buffalo scores a touchdown, the game's over. I don't believe Brady's going to go 75 yards with, 20 seconds to go, even though he has one timeout, and get a touchdown. That's my only problem. Do I believe Leonard Fournette got the first down? No, I don't, on 3rd down. I believe they probably, but I'm not going to get all up in arms about that one for the simple fact, Skip, I've seen it more times than not. We saw it with the Dak. It looked like Dak went in from a lot of different angles. But because they had ruled that he hadn't got in on the field, they weren't going to overturn it through video evidence. Okay, fine. I can live with that one. But I don't believe that the first down call on Leonard Fournette, I don't believe that impacted the game nearly as much as the non-call on Diggs and the call that Mike Evans got. So for me, Skip, I just want consistency. If you're going to say, well, I don't want the play to end, if the guy fouled him, the guy fouled him. If the guy jumps offside, you're not going to say, well, man, I don't want to call the first down. I don't want to call the offsides here because that's going to give them a first down, and that's going to, no, that's not how you do it. You call what you see, and more times than not, 9 times out of 10, Skip, they're going to call that. There's nothing for certain 100% of the time, but I believe that was a pass interference. And the consistency, and I think that's what people get frustrated with, is the consistency. Because one of my fathers, like what Shannon was that PI, and I would just turn it like this. If Brady throws that pass, that's a PI. And lo and behold, and so when it happened, I was like, y'all know what's going to happen. Don't act surprised. Don't be surprised. You know Brady's going to get those calls more times than not. And so for me, Skip, it was the level of consistency or the level of inconsistency in the game as far as PI is that was most disturbing, most disappointing. Not disturbing, disappointing to me.
Okay, you were echoing what I heard last night from our man Nelly, who was just texting me like crazy because he was out of his mind, and he readily acknowledges Brady's the GOAT, but he believes that the NFL wanted Brady to win that game.
Right.
And he focuses on those 2 calls that you just focused on, and he just said there's no way that if Brady, he did exactly what you said, if it's Brady on the shoes on the other foot, Brady's going to get that call.
Right.
Okay, so I was going back and forth with him, so I'll do it here verbally on live national TV because I was texting. It's hard to text responses because it's too complex.
It is because you watch it, you try to watch it, you try to text.
And you also want to write a book about it, like to defend yourself. So let's go to the first one. It's 3rd and 2 from the 7 with 28 seconds left in regulation. And if you look at this, Diggs, we don't have a great shot of it, but he pushes first, right there. He shoved first. Do you see what's happening to Carlton Davis? He is going down. I make the case that was offensive pass interference. That's what I'm making the case. Look, the shove is right there. He shoved Carlton Davis down. Help me out. That's not offensive PI?
I think Carlton Davis is smart enough to know, like, let me pretend like I'm losing my balance so they don't call the holding.
He just got shoved. It was a blatant two-hand shove to the chest. You always say if you extend, it's okay. So to me, as soon as I saw it live, I tweeted about it. I said that's offensive pass interference. We'll at least make it just a solid no call if you can't call it the other way, because I believe the ref had a good enough bird's eye view of that to say, should I throw it on the Bills? Because now you're really going to look bad if you throw it on the Bills, although they'd still probably get a field goal out of it. Right?
Well, my thing is, Skip, look, call what you see. If it's offensive PI, call offensive PI. If it's defensive PI, call defensive PI. I don't have a problem, but my problem was the inconsistency in some of these situations. We saw, I think it might have been Carlton Davis, that was actually, he had Diggs by the T-shirt. Okay. The very play that they called in Green Bay last year when the guy had Chris Godwin. They called that play. So I think this is what gets fans upset, is the inconsistency. Okay. So
I showed you a Gronk play where he's just getting the hell beat out of him all the way up the field, and they don't throw a flag. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now let's go to the Leonard Fournette play, because I am with you on this night. I texted Nelly last night. I said, if you want to argue this one, you got me, because I don't think Fournette made the first down on 3rd and 1. Does that mean they wouldn't have made, they'd have to go for it and make it? And I'm not going to bet against Brady there, but stranger things have happened. I just don't see how he gets home. Does he get to the marker?
I didn't see it either.
I never saw it. And they were saying on TV, well, it's the last little push that he made. I don't see it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I don't know how people, it would be hard for me to watch, because a lot of times when I go back and hear highlights and I hear how people are gloating over, I don't know how people watch it. When you watching Tom,
he didn't make that. He just didn't make it.
No,
I'm sorry, he didn't get there.
I don't think he made it either, Skip. But you know what, Skip? That would have forced Bruce Arians to make a very tough decision, because if you don't get it on 4th down, you're going to lose the game, because you just handed him the game-winning field goal.
I'm pretty sure they would have gone for it.
I believe so too. So too.
And I'm going to say I'm pretty sure they would have made it, but I don't know.
We don't know, right?
You just don't know.
Right.
It's crazy. Listen, Buffalo is the #2 scoring defense in pro football.
Right.
That front is solid, and it's also smart and savvy. They're smart. The two safeties are the best tandem safety in the league.
Because we saw, Skip, Coach Belichick with Tom Brady in a very similar situation go for it.
Yeah.
And basically on the same area of the field on 4th and 1, Skip, and he tried to run threw a little flat pass to the running back, and the running back couldn't get square his shoulders, and they got stopped, because he's like, you know what, if we give Peyton the ball back. So I believe Bruce Arians would have gone for it, given that he has Tom Brady.
To Falk, didn't he?
I think it was Kevin Falk.
All right.
And so, Skip, I think in that situation, he's like, you know what, I have Tom Brady.
Yep.
I'm going to trust him to sneak it, or whatever he decides. More times than not, I'm thinking Tom is going to probably sneak into that situation and not trust it with a handoff.
I agree.
Because you throw a pass, Skip, somebody get their hands up, and then the ball game's over. So I believe they go for it in that situation. But I think the thing is, consistency is what people are looking for, because there have been times like, hold on, that's PI, and they don't call it, and then such other situation where it doesn't look like PI, and they do call it.
Very next play is 7:06 left in overtime. Now they got it 1st and 10, all the way back on their 16, and Brady throws a jump ball to Mike Evans, guarded by Levi Wallace. If we could please see what transpired. Here we go. It is my contention that Levi Wallace is fouling him all the way up the field. I thought it was already interference all the way up the field. I'm going to throw that flag. He's reaching back. You think he's yanking him down, but the foul had already occurred to me. The interference had already been done. The act had been committed. And Mike Evans is trying to go up over the back of him with his long arms, because he's probably 4 or 5 inches taller, and he just can't get back to the football. But I don't think there's any yanking down. The foul had already occurred. I'm throwing that flag 10 out of 10 times.
But here's the thing. Mike Evans doesn't make us think about it. He don't like, oh, I got an inferior weird or nothing. Because he didn't. He know what he did. Mike Evans is not stomping and going crazy.
Well, I don't know. I think didn't he throw his fist?
Yeah, once he saw the flag, because I think the guy from the side threw it, not the back judge that's down towards the end zone.
Is it just dead solid 1,000% that you can't throw that flag?
No, Skip. I'm not saying that. I think the thing is that where you and I were. I'm with the side of the fan. The consistency is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Skip, if you want to call the PI, call the PI. But you can't leave it on one end where you've seen more times than not, they call that a PI.
Okay. Did I not lose a game on Thanksgiving? My Dallas Cowboys at home to the Raiders, of all teams, who now look like a pathetic mess all of a sudden. We lost at home to the Raiders because Anthony Brown, after a Micah mountainous sack,
right.
you know, it was just, it had magnitude. It just reverberated all over the country. On the very next play, Derek Carr just drops back and throws a deep ball, and guess who? It's Anthony Brown, and he doesn't look back and it's flag, and it's a 33-yard play. And all of a sudden I went from, I got this, to game over, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, every game I turn on, they're going to throw that flag on the deep ball, and Brady knows this. It's not just a Brady thing. It's an NFL way of life.
But Skip, I think the thing is, it's just like certain superstars in basketball get calls and other players in that same situation won't get that call. Brady, Rodgers, the big-time guys normally get the PI calls.
At least you threw Rodgers in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, the big-time...
a lot of this is just straight Brady hate.
No. I mean, Brady's not throwing the flags, but he does get called. Skip, every time Brady gets hit, the first thing he does is look at the official. Nothing. He didn't hit me too hard. I mean,
he did it last night.
You know, he's like, he hit me in the face. No, he didn't, bro. He didn't hit you in the face.
He's 44 years old.
I know, Skip.
He needs every edge he can get.
Skip, you can't look to the official every time. What? You ain't got nothing? All right, I'll get on up there.
Would you give me this?
What?
Brady has edged ahead as MVP?
Yeah.
Can you believe this? We're this deep into the season, and even Shannon Sharpe acknowledges that Tom Brady has edged ahead as the NFL MVP at age 44.
But that guy in Green Bay ain't going quietly, Skip.
That guy in Green
Guess
Bay.
who?
Interesting that you bring him up.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns in yesterday's 45-30 win over the Bears. But afterward, the reigning MVP said his fractured toe, quote, feels worse after suffering a setback during the game. He also reiterated that surgery is a last resort as he continues to play through the injury. So, Shannon, what's going on here?
Nothing. No, I don't know who put that out there that Aaron Rodgers was going to have toe surgery. Aaron Rodgers was never going to have toe surgery. I've had teammates to have this very injury. And basically, the only thing that helps it is staying off of it. You're not going to have surgery. Our audio lady, Bonnie, had a broken toe. She wore Birkenstocks and walked funny. You know what I'm saying? So that was the difference. So if you play in football, Skip, how as a quarterback...
So now we're comparing Bonnie to Aaron Rodgers.
But no, I'm just saying,
that's
Skip.
a first on Undisputed.
I'm just saying, Skip, when you have a toe injury, Skip, you're a quarterback. How you gonna have, what you gonna do? You gonna put a pin in it? You gonna put a cast on? How you put a cast on a pinky toe, Skip? You can't. And how you transfer? Because you transfer the weight. He's a right-handed quarterback, so guess what? He drops back the pass, he pushes off that right foot, which is a little pinky toe. It's just gonna be how much pain can he tolerate? Now, if it was a big toe, it would probably be more of a problem. Now, I've had guys that had turf toe, Skip, that ended up having to have surgery. A lot of guys, it forced Jonathan Ogden to end up retiring. Jack Lambert had to retire. Deion Sanders, it basically ended his career. My brother had...
Don't get me started on NBA centers like Bill Walton, but go ahead.
My brother had it. He had to put one of those hard insoles in, so you can't get the dorsiflexion. Shoot the toe up every day. Every
Which
Sunday.
toe, little or big?
Big toe.
Okay.
And he had surgery at the end of the season. But the little toe, Skip, first of all, it's a foot. There's not a whole lot of blood circulation going down there anyway. So things don't heal down that area of the body as quickly as it would something else. Because look how far the blood has to travel just to heal that area. I never thought Aaron Rodgers, that sounded good. Well, we're going to, sit down with the doctors and see. No, the trainer thought is stay off the foot as much as you can. A lot of times, Skip, he probably not taking a whole lot of reps in practice because you don't want to just continuously drive off that foot and aggravate it, irritate it, make it worse than what it already is. But I didn't think, nobody that plays the game of football, covers the game of football, studies the game of football, thought Aaron Rodgers was going to have surgery on no pinky toe. Nobody, no, hell no. And miss time?
I'm reading here in ESPN, their reporter says during the bye week, Rodgers said surgery was an option, and even though he was told it could be done without missing a game, he elected not to have it.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Told you could do it without missing a game.
Not on that little pin, not on that toe. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? Put a pin in it?
All I know is here we go again with
Drama.
this guy. Yeah, here we go again because it is some crazy psycho drama that goes on with this guy. I can't trust him anymore. I can't trust the reports. It's hard to believe what's going on behind the scenes here because remember, we never heard a straight answer about how did you do this during quarantine?
Right.
Remember, the story started to catch fire. Well, was it a COVID toe?
Yeah.
Because people do get COVID toes.
Right.
So he kept saying it flared up. You know, this irritated it. Well, that could happen. The symptom. He said after that first game back, he said the symptoms flared up. Well, wouldn't that indicate COVID symptoms?
Yeah.
Because you don't have symptoms of a fractured toe or a stress fractured toe, right?
Right.
Okay. So how did he do it during the pandemic?
Did he drop a weight on it?
Did he? Okay, maybe.
In the middle of the night, he wakes up in the middle of the night, Skip, and he hits it on the corner of the dresser or the bed or something.
You could
walk into a door.
Fall down the stairs.
It's painful. I mean, anybody that stubbed their toe, Skip,
you
know how painful that is. Now, if he's dealing with something of that magnitude and it's lingering, obviously playing quarterback, Skip, trying to shift your weight, to drive the ball down the field. I can see that. But I didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to have no. Man, he loves drama. First of all, why are you talking about an injury? They go out of their way. Most teams not to divulge. We got fined one year for John Elway not putting John on the injury report when he got a hamstring.
Yep.
The Patriots got fined for not having Brady. And they turn around and we did it. Put everybody on the injury report.
Yep.
More times than not, Skip, I don't want to tell you what body part on a player's injured. Because I'm going to attack it. You got a hurt shoulder, I'm going to attack it. Yeah. You got a hurt wrist, a hurt knee, a hurt ankle, I'm going to attack it.
Yeah.
So if you got a hurt toe, I get close to you, I'm going to step on it. It is what it is, bro. I'm telling you, And I'm going to have on 7 studs when I do it.
Okay, there you go. So have we not seen that Aaron Rodgers is not the shrewdest of operators? So we know that he lied, obviously, about being vaccinated.
Right.
He got immunized, and we know all the fallout from that.
Right.
I think it permanently damaged his legacy, at least as the leader of the football team.
So can I trust that he has what he has?
I don't know. So why would he suddenly say last night, it feels worse after he threw 4 touchdown passes? Does that not increase the narrative that this guy's playing through incredible pain?
Skip.
Look at me. I just threw 4 touchdowns, and it feels worse. I'm dying over
I
here.
don't want to hear nothing. All I want to know is to see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. Anything less than that is a disappointment. I don't want to hear nothing about no toe.
Is this not a classic sympathy play by an Aaron Rodgers who took a PR beating over immunized?
Well,
right?
He's going to take another one.
Sympathy play.
I tell you what, Skip, don't get to the Super Bowl. And see what kind of play and see what kind of beating you're going to take.
Okay, so I give him this. His offensive line is beat up, and they lost another one last night.
Yep, Billy Turner.
But his best receiver is not beat up because that guy, that Devontae guy.
That route.
Whew, every time I look up, he is far and away the best receiver in football. I don't think it's even close. I mean, help me out here. Is there anybody even in the ballpark with him?
He's sensational.
He is sensational because he moves with such lightning, sort of he's just electric with his movement. He runs so strong.
Skip, and people like, well, man, the DB's playing inside leverage. How do you let him get beat on a slant? If you watch what he does, he's so patient. Route runners are very patient. Good route runners are very patient. He's stuttering. He looks to the fade. Well, Skip, I got to go if I'm a DB. That's my key. I follow his eyes. Well, his eyes tell me fade.
By the way, usually there are 2 DBs that go.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm Skip. He does that, and you see the guy. He has to open up. Once he opens up, Devontae said, Adam said, now's my time.
Thank
you.
And
Rodgers put it right on. He has no choice. Skip, you got that kind of time. There's not a DB in the world that can stop that route if you let him have that kind of time and let him be that patient and run that route. Okay. He stutters him. He looks to the fade. DB like, oh, that's his eye. Let me go. Bam. Run a slant inside.
And I don't have any sympathy for Aaron about his running game because, listen, they got thunder and they got lightning.
Oh, yeah.
They got the big man and they got the little man, and they can both play, and they can both bring it on any given play on any given night.
Right.
It's a lethal combination, which brings me to the Green Bay defense. As they slowly but surely get people healthy on that side, I know they gave up some freakish plays last night because they were just freakish. Just the Bears as the hopeless underdog. I own you, I own you, I own you. They said, okay, watch this. And they hung in as long as they could, and then the dam burst all over them, and it froze all over them.
But Green Bay's special teams is a cause of concern.
Okay.
The kicker has missed 9 field goals. He shanked out of bounds. You can't, in the playoff, Skip, you let a team start at the 40. That's in Tampa. You let Tampa start at the 40. You let Arizona start at the 40. You let a Cowboys team start at the 40-yard line. You're asking for trouble. I agree with you, Skip. You can't let receivers run a reverse, Skip, and go 50 yards. You can't let a guy run a running back, he's a little receiver, runs what we call a Texas route, Skip, out of the backfield.
And just split it and just go to the house.
What do I tell guys? You've heard me a million times. Never let an offensive player cross your face. You never do that, Skip. And what did he do? He let Bird run the Texas route, cross his face, his coverage, and now he splits the seam and he hits his head on the goal.
He's gone. He can fly now.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it was 3 plays. Yep. You get the 97-yard punt return, you get the 50-plus yard reverse, and you get the little Texas angle right out of the backfield.
They almost got another one on the kick, onside kick, and yet you can't return.
You can't advance it. And they ran another. Skip, they ran right before the half. They almost ran a kick back.
They did.
I mean, they had great field position, and I don't know what they were thinking. Y'all do realize Justin Fields got legs. Y'all rushing him like, oh, he's just a statue. And he ended up with like 70-plus yards. Skip, he had 9 rushes for 74 yards.
Okay, but I still think that defense is becoming very good.
Now, when they get Zadarius Smith back, they get Jair back. That Rasul Douglas, Skip.
He's pretty good.
Hey, you better double move him.
And listen, that little kid they drafted out of Georgia, that other corner, Stokes, he can just fly.
You better double move Douglas. He's squatting on everything, and he's gotten confidence, Skip. Ever since he made that play against Arizona, Skip, remember the pick where A.J. Green didn't run the fade right, and he stopped, and he got that pick? You see what back-to-back games, he's gotten pick 6. Got one against the Rams, got one last night, almost got another one.
I do not feel sorry for Aaron.
Man, nobody feeling sorry for Aaron Rodgers.
Sorry. Thank you.
I've talked about a toe ever in my life. We keep hearing about this. Yes.
But he played great, though. Give him that, though, Skip. He played great, Skip. Give him that now. Give him that. Skip, don't do that, Skip. Don't do it. 29 to 37. I'm just trying to figure out how Tom Brady had a high QBR. 29 to 37, 341 and 4 tubs.
Bears any good on defense?
No. I can't tell Buffalo really good.
The Cowboys.
No mercy.
Celebrate Christmas with a boom. Fox Sports proudly presents a documentary tribute to one of football's most beloved figures, the coach, the broadcaster, the video game. All Madden premieres Christmas Day on Fox. I've been counting down the days to see this. I cannot wait. Christmas Day. Don't want to miss it. Well, I need your thoughts, guys. The Cowboys brought their own heated benches from Dallas to Washington to the game yesterday, and social media was buzzing about it leading up to kickoff. According to reports, the Cowboys heard from the Seahawks that the visitors' heated benches at FedEx Field malfunctioned during a Monday night game, Week 12. So Jerry Jones and company took matters into their own hands and brought their own from home. Shannon, big deal or no big deal?
It's not a big skill. You know how Jerry is, Skip.
It's a lot.
Jerry tried to put the brand out there so when you shine on the sideline, Skip, what do you see? You see the big star. You see the Cowboy. That's a big, man, oh my goodness. So because something happened in Week 12, this is Jerry. This is overreact. This was overreaction Sunday. Normally, Skip, we have overreaction Monday. This was overreaction Sunday. This was a whole lot to do about nothing. Jerry, they make it see. I can see, Skip, if it was the Ice Bowl or that. What was that? 80? Was that 82, Skip? When the Chargers went to Cincinnati and it was like 50 below zero. Skip, I get it. What was the temperature yesterday? 30 degrees, 35, 40 maybe.
I think it was in the 40s.
Really, Skip?
45 at kickoff.
Is that what your team do? Is that what your team does? Skip, you guaranteed a victory. And to ensure your guarantee, you took your own benches. just to make sure what nothing hocus pocus go. I can see, Skip, if there was a team, Washington football team, they were 10-2, 11-3, something like that. You're like, okay, yeah, y'all might be up to some shenanigans. Really, Skip? A team that's basically under 500, and this is what y'all doing. Y'all so insecure. Y'all so worried about the Washington football team. You bring your own benches from Dallas. So is this going to be a reoccurring theme, or y'all going to take them to New York? If you go play Green Bay at Lambeau, are you going to take your benches there? So this is what you do now. Once the temperature dips, Cowboys take their own benches. Wow. That's embarrassing. You ought to be embarrassed.
There's some envy in your voice. I do.
Skip, we had heated seats too. We didn't take them on the road. We just still look. When you're on the field, what good is that going to do?
I'm going to reiterate. I was ashamed of my coach for guaranteeing a victory at our arch rival. I was ashamed of my quarterback, $75 million man, Dak Prescott, who's been playing like he's worth about 75 cents. I'm ashamed of my running game, which for the first...
What running game?
That's why I said for the first 6 games, averaged 164 yards a game, and now it's barely at 97. So it's plummeting because we probably lost Tony Pollard, I'm guessing, for the year with a torn plantar fascia in the bottom of his foot. So I'm ashamed, and I'm scared about all of the above because it's hard to rise above all of the above.
Right.
I'm often ashamed of things that Jerry Jones says. But for once, I got to tell you, I was not ashamed of what he did because this was a Bigfoot one. This is where you say, I'm Jerry Jones and you're not.
Yeah.
That's what, and again.
So this wasn't about no cold weather. Skip, Steve got here. It was 48 degrees at game time.
48, okay. So they had to partner with some company out of Cleveland called Dragon Seats to ship them in, but they had them all painted up with lots of metallic blue Dallas Cowboys.
Because why would you even have heated seats, Skip? You in Dallas, you play in a dome. It's never going to be cold enough in the dome for you to use that.
Okay, but they had heard, as Jenny pointed out from the Seahawks, that the heating coils or element kept going out during the Monday night game, and I'm sure it was a lot colder on that Monday night for Seattle. And so Jerry's like, well, okay, I'll go you one up. What has Jerry always said? There's no check I wouldn't write to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, you play in a
salary
game
cap
that has a salary cap. So, there is a limit to the check.
This ain't baseball.
Right? Okay, would Jerry Jones not make a great George Steinbrenner?
Jerry would have all the best players at every position Jerry Jones would have. He would have had Tom Brady. He'd have Devontae Adams. He'd have everybody.
It would be something, and they'd probably lose anyway, wouldn't they? Okay, because they do cowboy things, Jerry-type things. I love this because I believe the players quietly love this because if you play for Jerry, you know he's literally got your back. As in, I'm going to sit up against the heated bench. He's got my back in Washington.
Yeah.
We got kind of home benches. They're not exactly from home because they don't have heated benches at home because they don't play outside. You can
so let me ask you a question.
Roof.
What they gonna do with them? Are they gonna send them to where they play now? They play the Giants.
Okay. I would have. Great question because I would have thought there'd be an NFL rule against you can't bring your own into the rival stadium, right?
Yeah. Oh, no,
Shouldn't there be? Do you think this will get addressed by the commissioner this week?
I don't think so, Skip, because more teams than not, Skip, to have something like that, in the relative scheme of things, Skip, it's very inexpensive for an NFL team to do this. It's just the fact that Jerry did it. That's what this is, Skip. I mean, think about it. How much you think those seats cost? Let's just say they cost $100,000, and it costs you another $10,000, $15,000 to get them shipped. What is that?
I'd say at least both of those.
Okay, so Skip, what's that to a team that makes $300, $400 million a year?
Doesn't matter because it doesn't count against your cap.
Exactly.
But does it break a rule? Did he go maverick again and defy the NFL and jump through a loophole?
I don't think he did, Skip. I don't think they're going to say that violated the salary cap. A lot of teams says, Skip, we'll do whatever it takes to win. But there are very few teams that will actually do whatever it takes to win. The one thing we can say about Jerry, Skip, does he meddle? Does he get in the way? Sure. But I do believe that there is not an expense that Jerry wouldn't spare if it meant his team could win a ball game.
And he felt that the Dallas Cowboys facilities right at the top. With
absolutely.
You better believe
absolutely.
it. do the players feel like they have everything they could ever want?
Absolutely.
Maybe to a fault?
Charging stations, they probably got bowls, they got probably Beats, headphones and audio in their lockers.
Okay.
Oh, the hydro tub, the cryotherapy, they got everything. Masseuse, physio, Skip, they got it. I mean, that place in Frisco actually cost more than the stadium cost.
It did. So you don't think the Cowboys trotted out of the locker room onto the field for the early warm-ups and took a look at the bench and said, Jerry just flexed. Didn't he just flex?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a major play.
Okay. And it's especially a great flex in Washington Stadium, your arch rival, led by Daniel Snyder.
Think about this. It gets cold in Green Bay. It gets cold in a lot of different places.
Yep.
Nobody else have their logo painted on their heated seats.
Yep. So I got you. So I even had to put up with last night more shame because the Lyle Collins play, which we have not mentioned yet, both McCarthy and Jerry defended the play. Well, he threw a punch, and Dak was saying they had my back. Well, it wasn't.
But they didn't do anything.
It wasn't even a foul.
That you were in bounds. I get it. He shoved you and you slid all the way into one of the benches. Okay. But you were in bounds when he shoved you.
And it's some practice squad guy that they just called up from the practice squad, right? Bradley King.
But I'm trying to figure, Skip, what did the guy do wrong? And I get, Skip, I have no problem with Lyle Collins coming to defend him. Okay, I do have a problem with the punch thrown.
Okay. But you can't go throw a punch and have Mike McCarthy say, that's the way I want my players to react. To throw a punch and get kicked out of the game?
No. Are
you serious?
I'm sure maybe the commissioner, but Troy Vincent will have a conversation that says, Mike, we don't encourage throwing punches. We want guys to...
He validated. He backed it up.
Yeah, no. Skip, we see the situation. We saw Andy Dalton a couple of years ago slide.
No, it was just last year.
Was it last year? And Skip, he got knocked out and everybody looking around like, damn.
He got knocked cold by John Bostic.
They Skip, they looking at Andy like, damn, Andy, that was a tough hit there. You okay?
Walking around like, yeah, here we go. Here it is right here. Okay, Andy Dalton tries to run out of his end zone, and he gets ripped in the head.
And nobody does anything.
And nobody. Oh, God, that was a shot.
So and that was a cheap, that was dirty. Nobody did anything. The play on Dak was clean, was legit, and everybody lose their mind. But it just goes to show you, Dak's the leader, Skip.
Andy Dalton was gone for a while off that one, because that was a serious shot to the head.
And they're not leader.
Okay. Okay, I got it. So I love that part, but you can't go out and throw a punch at the practice squad guy.
Even Zeke got a forearm shiv on the sideline. Talking about, man, you can't hit my homeboy like that.
Okay, I got it. So I appreciate all that. But then Mike McCarthy says, that's the way I want my players to really? You want them to throw punches and get
thrown out of the game.
Okay,
No.
Go, Mike.
But at the end
my Cowboys.
That's your team.
That's my team.
You
were 9-4.
No mercy. Year 19 has been interesting for LeBron. Despite dropping a triple-double last night, many of the Kings' numbers are down, and some are questioning how much he has left in the tank to carry the Lakers on his shoulders. An anonymous scout even went as far to say this, quote, he's not the best player in the league anymore. He's still dominant, but Father Time is showing he still can't be stopped, but he can't do it for long periods of time anymore. A lot to say, especially anonymously. Shannon, is there any truth to any of this?
People act like, Skip, the man. I mean, now, this is your opportunity in year 19. LeBron, he ain't the best player anymore. In year 19, it took you that long for you to say LeBron James isn't the best player. But this is what he also said. He's still elite. He's still an all-star. He can still dominate. He still can't be stopped, but he just can't do it for long periods of time. Now, this is LeBron James' career average. LeBron James averages 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. That's his average for a career. LeBron James in year 19 is currently averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. Wow, he stepped off a cliff. I guarantee you, they're going to be everybody in the NBA that's currently playing would love to make it to year 19 and step off the cliff that LeBron James just stepped off of. Oh, he's not better than Giannis. He's not better than Jokic. He's not better than Steph. He's not better than KD. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, I can see that. So you said he's still a top 5 player at almost 37 years of age. No other player in NBA history can we say that about. He took this opportunity. The Lakers are struggling. LeBron James has been in and out of lineup. Injuries, and he got suspended. Half the games, he's played 16 games. Half of them, he scored 30 or more points. Of course, Skip, 3 of his first 5 years, he did average over 40 minutes a game. But nobody play 40 minutes a game in their 30s. But LeBron James, but it just goes to show you how great he is. And consider he's averaging, only Nikola Jokic and LeBron James are putting up the numbers that he's putting up currently. 2 players. And this is the opportunity for you to take a shot at the guy, saying he stepped off a cliff, even though he's 1 point fewer, 1 rebound fewer than what his average is for a career.
Okay, but he didn't say washed. You read all the quotes. He's still elite. He still can be the best. He just can't do it for long periods of time.
Okay.
Was that not fair to say?
Yeah,
That's not saying you fell off the cliff.
Skip, but we knew that. Yes, he picks and chooses his spot. He might have 4 points in the quarter and then go berserk in the next quarter, 14. Chill a little bit in the next quarter and then go berserk again. No, he can't do. Skip, we've never seen a guy. You take any wing player or guard, of course, even Jordan, even Kobe as they got older, couldn't do what they could for 4 quarters. They pick and choose their spots.
Okay.
This is not unique to LeBron.
So the scout also said LeBron is finding new ways to load manage himself when he's on the court.
He's always done that.
I agree with this. He takes a lot of plays off for many reasons, either mad at his teammates or he doesn't get back down the floor. He'll attack the rim, fall down, and take forever to get up waiting for a foul call. It's also... It's shrewd operation because you're saying, well, I'll beg for this foul call because I need one sequence off, so I won't get down the court on this one. I'll stay down here. Maybe I'll even cherry pick and get a dunk on a break.
Or I'm going to plant the seed that, okay, you missed this one, but maybe the next one you'll see it.
Maybe. Okay, so is there not some truth to what he just said there?
There's a lot of truth, Skip. But the man is almost about to be 37. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me the player at this age in NBA history that's been this good? Name one player.
Okay. All right. But is he right when he said he's losing athleticism, speed, burst, explosion, but that's all fathered time? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Skip. Let me ask you a question. Did Usain Bolt slow down as he started to age? Did he lose explosion? He never ran as he started to age. He never ran the times that he ran in his early 20s once he got to his late 20s. So was it fair to say? Of course it is. That's what happens. It's called aging. We all do it. It just so happens that if you're just a normal person, you age a little slower. But when you play a professional sport, it becomes more noticeable. Yes, what he's saying is true. But how many guys, when they turn 36, would like to be aging like LeBron?
Okay, final quote. Scathing as it might be, is there any truth to this? LeBron's a bad GM. Russ is not a good fit there. LeBron doesn't need an older roster around him. They still need LeBron to do everything. Not a good recipe for this stage of his career. True or false?
Skip, I said that Russ wasn't a great fit.
Okay.
And he's there because LeBron and AD wanted him there. Everybody's there. Rob Pelinka's not bringing guys on that roster without the blessing of AD and LeBron. Of course, true. And also true, this team is nothing without LeBron. It was supposed to be AD now at this juncture was supposed to be the best player on the team. And he's not.
Well, at the moment, he's not even there. Which is typical, right?
And when he's there, is he the best player? No. LeBron is still the best player. In year 19, AD was supposed to take that mantle over, Skip.
I honestly thought he was going to.
Yes.
I thought this was the year where you finally say, okay, here, you do it. For the most part.
Right.
And he's not doing it, and he's fragile. He is Eggman.
Skip.
He is cracked here and cracked there.
At this point, AD is what he is. I've come to the realization that AD is not going to be anything other than what AD's been his entire career. So stop saying he can be Giannis. Just have that. That's not what he is. We are what we repeatedly do. What have we seen AD repeatedly do? Settle for outside shots. That's why he never wanted to play the 5.
Okay.
You know what you got to do to play the 5?
Yeah,
you got to bring it every night. You got to bang.
You got to bang.
And it's okay. But he don't want that. He ain't about that life.
Okay. So, bottom line to all this discussion and all these scathing quotes is this team's going to go as far as LeBron James takes it. Okay?
We knew that.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that, Skip. I trust him. He can stay healthy. They can go. Look. Obviously, we're going to need AD to be more. We're going to need AD clearly, he's not going to be Giannis. That's not his mentality. But can he be the AD that he was in New Orleans? Can he give us on a nightly basis? Can we book it, write him down, Skip? Not no 17 and 15. We need 28-12, 28-13.
Maybe he's aging faster than LeBron is.
Sometimes on some nights, hell, I can't tell who's the older the players.
I agree.
But he even conceded. At 37, LeBron James is still a top 5 player. Have we ever in the history of the game ever seen a 37-year-old top 5 player? And I don't believe you will see it again.
You agree with every word spoken.
Well, it's interesting, too, because, Tom Brady was just motivated by everyone talking about the fact that Father Time was catching up, and he just set another record in yesterday's win.
Oh, my God. What record he set now?
The latest milestone for the GOAT. They are adding up, Shannon.
No mercy.
Tom Brady broke Drew Brees' all-time completions record in the second quarter of yesterday's win. This is just the latest milestone for Brady, who also holds records for all-time touchdown passes, pass attempts, passing yards as well. Shannon, is this latest record a big deal or no big deal to you?
No, because did we celebrate him having more pass attempts than Drew Brees? He broke that last year. This is a longevity record, Skip. He's thrown 600 more passes than Brees. Skip, for whatever reason, football numbers aren't celebrated like basketball. Skip, if I tell you 18,355, nobody's going to say, well, what is that? That's Emmitt Smith's rush total. Nobody knows that. But you knew what 715 was. You know what that is, Skip. So for me, this is a longevity record, and Tom has played at an extremely high level. But I can't explain. I don't know why. Maybe because they started playing baseball a lot longer than they started playing football, and the numbers seem to mean more. The Kareem record, it seems to mean more. We know what 100, that's Wilt scored. We know certain things, but football numbers aren't like that, Skip, and I don't know why. But I'm going to give Tom credit. I mean, for him to play as long as he's played, play at that level in which he's played at for such an extremely long time. But like you tell me, if it doesn't happen in 1 year, everything else is a longevity record. So it's longevity.
So you mentioned the great Emmitt Smith. I had to watch him leave Dallas for Arizona and finally set the all-time rushing record.
Well, he had the record when he was in Dallas. He got it in Dallas.
Okay, but he had to pad it with a lot of empty calorie yards for a bad Arizona team to put it into an echelon that may never be eclipsed, right?
Yes.
Okay, at least Tom Brady is doing this for a team that is now 10-3 and right in the mix. I think they're going to go win a second straight Super Bowl. So these aren't empty calorie yards, right?
No.
They're significant because yesterday he did achieve it against the team with the #1 rated by Pro Football Focus pass defense, the #2 scoring defense in the league, the 2 best tandem safeties in the league, and he even did it with a flourish on that pass, as we just saw the highlight of the throw, the fall-away throw to Mike Evans was special. So, again, does it matter in the grand pantheon of things? Well, he's got every record imaginable. He's got 20 records.
Right.
But I loved it that it came in what he called our biggest game of the year against a Buffalo team that is very good on defense, that can really stick it to you, especially if you throw the football.
Well, they were very good. Are we sure they're very good? Because Indy would say no.
Well, Bill Belichick would say yes, because he wouldn't even let his rookie quarterback try to throw
But why would I throw the ball when I can just run it down and skip? It's easier.
Because you almost got in trouble, and you would have looked like a fool if Josh Allen had made one throw to beat you.
Let me ask you a question.
And you scored 14 points.
Can I ask you a question? Why would I take a plane from LAX to Burbank when I get in my car and drive there? It's easier.
Okay.
Hey,
your point is?
My point is, why would I throw the ball if I can run for 250 down your throat and you can't stop it?
Okay. Well, you almost didn't stop Josh Allen from beating you. What would it have been? 17-14.
But we
if
did.
He just makes one throw. If he sees Cole Beasley on the little skinny post,
Skip.
You're cooked. You lose.
Skip, you almost didn't beat Josh Allen. You almost didn't do it. He had you dead right. He had the ball first in overtime. He had the ball at the 8-yard line.
What do I tell you about Josh Allen? Not that guy.
Hold on. He's not that guy, but he almost beat Coach Belichick. He's not that guy. He almost beat you. So what are we saying? Are we giving him credit or are we not?
And he didn't.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So in the end, he did this in style yesterday.
What's that?
And he did it for a team that matters against a team that has been very good on defense.
Going into that game, did you know this was a possibility? No, you did not.
Yeah,
so
I did. I read about it all week.
Nobody knew the significance. Nobody. So you knew he was that many, 2 touchdowns away from 700?
No, I didn't know that one.
Exactly.
I knew the completion record.
No, nobody going into that. I didn't know anything about it. They ain't paused no game. They ain't stopped nothing. Everybody was just going on about the
So
business.
only the GOAT would walk it off with his 700th touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Is that not cool? That's all-time cool.
Skip. So how long you got to play to get 700 touchdowns? You tell me anything that doesn't happen in 1 year is longevity. That's what you've told me.
There is a little longevity to it, but it's still impressive nonetheless. Coming up next, Skip and Shannon give their picks for tonight's Rams-Cardinals game.
Go Rams, go.
No.
Oh, really? Go Rams, go.
Coming from you.
No mercy.
The Rams visit the Cardinals in the desert tonight in hopes of making up ground in the NFC West race. According to Fox Bet Sportsbook, Arizona is only a 2-point home favorite despite having the best record in the league. So, Shannon, who you got? Who wins?
I'm going to take the Cards in a close game, Skip. Kyle is a problem. Kyle and D-Hop, they seem to get back on the same page, pick right up where they left off. I'm anxious to see that matchup with Jalen Ramsey. But Matthew Stafford needs to have a game against a good team, and he hasn't had one of those games since the Tampa. So I'm anxious to see what he does tonight.
It is that time of year again when we are forced to root for teams we don't believe in, which is why I say throw, Matt, throw. I don't believe the Rams are better than the Cardinals, but they need to be tonight for the sake of the Bucs and the Cowboys and everybody else. Go, Odell, go. I don't buy you.
Oh, now you root for Odell. Now you root for Odell.
5 for $1.25. How about it, Odell?
Okay, then I'm going go Cardinals.
Please.
This is too weird.
I can't believe
we will
you.
be all over it tomorrow. The herd is on now.
Now you root for the
Have
Cards.
a good one.